From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, a motor vehicle collision between a black truck and a white semi sent one woman to Fbx Memorial Hospital. The crash occurred late last night and closed a portion of the Steese Expressway and Johansson Expressway intersection. Now, according to Fbx police, those who witnessed the accident say the woman driving the truck was making a left turn from the Steese to Johansson and did not have the right of way. She collided with the semi, which was going the opposite direction. The condition of the woman is unknown as of news time. Officer Bruce Barnett says that drivers need to be aware of their surroundings, especially in such a potentially dangerous intersection.
The yellow caution lights, and then these have the flashing yellows prior to the intersection, is to not to chase the yellow. I mean, speed up. So you got to slow down and stop at the red light, and make sure you're yielding, and make sure, even if it's green, that you're looking to make sure the intersection's clear before you proceed through.
The Fbx Board of Education met at 5:30 this evening to approve the 2015-2016 school operating budget. The board has cut $11 million off the spending plan originally proposed by Superintendent of Schools Karen Gaborik. Now, it was standing room only at last night's regularly scheduled school board meeting. Many of those in attendance spoke against the cuts that will result in the loss of roughly 70 district-wide positions should borough and state funding levels not increase. A majority of those who testified did so in support of retaining counselor, nurse, and librarian positions. However, solutions to the funding problem were in short order. That is, until a West Valley sophomore stepped up to the microphone.
I asked the current legislative session, the Fbx North Star Borough School District, teachers, parents, and anyone else who believes that wise investment in the future through education, rather than pinching pennies in the present, creating unparalleled long-term prosperity for Alaska, to pledge their support for an income tax for the state. I can speak for this not as a politician, parent, or even teacher. I can speak for this as a student whose future is directly impacted by the education budget.
With the possibility of adding up to 54 F-35 fighter jets to Eielson Air Force Base, officials are asking for feedback from Interior residents to present to the Secretary of the Air Force. Air Force personnel visited the city of North Pole first to get comments from residents. The Air Force chose Eielson as a preferred alternative area to house the F-35 fighters last year. The public scoping period is the first step for an environmental impact statement that studies how the planes could affect Eielson and the communities surrounding the base. North Pole Mayor Bryce Ward says he's proud that so many people came to the meeting.
I think it's great. I think it shows that there's definitely a concern, there's definitely an excitement in North Pole and in Fbx, the interior, and we want to definitely build on that and welcome those F-35s in.
And as part of gathering those comments from the community, be able to further assess the impacts on the environment, whether it be noise, wildlife, things like that that perhaps we in the military don't necessarily think about every day in conducting a military business.
The official website for the city of Fbx was temporarily taken down yesterday after it was targeted by hackers outside of the country. City spokeswoman Amber Courtney says the city website is hosted by another server out of the state. The rest of their systems containing personal and payment information are hosted internally with a higher level of security, and internal records weren't breached. City technicians have determined how the site was hacked, and preventative measures have been taken to ensure it doesn't happen again. The hacker group replaced the site with a black screen and music for about 4 hours. Courtney says there wasn't much of a message other than a proclamation of their ability to hack a site. She prefers not to name the group.
They're calling themselves commandos and terrorists of the internet, and our thoughts are that anybody who lays that claim should not get what they're seeking, which is really attention, and so we're preferring not to name that organization.
When we come back, the public will have a chance tomorrow night to see and comment on how the climate is changing in Alaska. Also, in our military report, we'll hear how a special ceremony on Sunday will recognize Vietnam vets. These stories and more when the Fbx Evening News continues. Welcome back. After a raid by the statewide drug enforcement unit reportedly turned up over 100 marijuana plants inside his residence, a Fbx man is in jail facing multiple felonies. 36-year-old Shannon Ray Brewer was arraigned this afternoon in Fairbanks District Court on 3 counts of misconduct involving a controlled substance in the 4th degree. According to charging documents, a neighbor phoned Alaska State Troopers after smelling a heavy odor of marijuana from the Chena Hot Springs Road residence. Troopers say the home had been turned into a commercial marijuana growing operation with nearly $64,000 worth of processed cannabis. Brewer is being held at Fairbanks Correctional Center on $5,000 bail. It was 26 years ago yesterday that the Exxon Valdez oil tanker struck Bly Reef in Prince William Sound, creating the largest oil spill in U.S. history at the time. The ship dumped more than 11 million gallons of crude oil into the water on March 24, 1989. The oil spread across 1,300 miles of shoreline, affecting hundreds of thousands of birds and animals. A federal judge ordered Exxon to pay $6.7 billion in punitive damages to thousands of fishermen and others, but that amount was dramatically reduced after years of litigation. The massive punitive amount would have been on top of the $3 billion Exxon had already spent on cleanup, settlements, and other fees and penalties. The 2010 Gulf of Mexico oil spill is now the largest in U.S. history. Many of us have stories about the environmental changes we've observed right here in Alaska. Tomorrow night, 2 scientists would like to hear those accounts and what you've witnessed regarding the environment and climate change. A paleoecologist and an environmental archaeologist from England are here studying samples from Arctic lakes that date back thousands of years. They've been sharing their methods and studies with schools in Anaktuvik as well as Fairbanks with students from Effie Cochran. Dr. Martin Van Hardenbroek specializes in aquatic insects, and Emma Hopla looks at pollen to reconstruct vegetative histories. The pair showed students how they take core samples to understand the ecology and the past. Their presentation tomorrow night is in the Morris Thompson Center at 7 o'clock. They'll share what they've discovered and are very interested in hearing stories from members right here in the interior.
The things we looked at in the past, how that kind of mixes with what's going on at the moment.
Science is great. It can tell us an awful lot about our past, but understanding people's experiences of their landscape and how they are interacting with it, that's so important for us.
Veterans of the Vietnam War will be recognized at a special event in Fairbanks on Sunday. Monty Bowen has details in this week's military report.
We never received any welcome home benefits, no crowds, cheers, only your family was glad to see you.
That was Vietnam veteran Hank Bartos the day the governor signed a bill 2 years ago proclaiming March 29th of each year as Vietnam Veterans Day in Alaska. It's been 40 years since troops pulled out of Vietnam, and we have been involved in several other conflicts since then. The attitude of the American people has changed.
Our country's become pretty patriotic once more, and we support our troops and everything else, and in return I think they wanted to show some respect to the Vietnam veterans.
There was a larger turnout than expected at last year's event. Benno Cleveland, head of the Alaska Native Veterans Association, said he thought he knew most of the local Vietnam vets until that meeting.
Last year when they started coming out of the woodwork, it was really nice to get together with guys that were there and they could relate to you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, it's kind of a healing journey for a lot of us that were there, and it was a lot of fun because we could BS with each other and joke around and just have a good time.
It's not an attempt at a welcome home this many years after the fact.
In talking with our Vietnam vets, they have informed us that a welcome home is too little too late. But what we would like to do is say thank you for your service. Like so many of our soldiers currently are getting this thank you for your service, we owe them that much.
This year's observance of Vietnam Veterans Day will be held Sunday, March 29th at Randy Smith School at 1401 Bainbridge Boulevard, starting at 1 p.m. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
All right, our main man Joe Cook is taking a break, so Mike Fossil is next with your sports update. He'll take a look at some athletes who are gearing up for the spring season, plus a lot more coming up after the break.
And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your local sports action this evening. First, we take a look at the best of the best high school basketball players the area has to offer. The 2015 Alaska High School Basketball All-Star Tournament team has been selected, and a handful of interior players are being honored. West Valley junior Ruthie Hebert and sophomores Alexis Shipman are representing the Lady Wolfpack. The two forwards pushed their team to the state title game. Hebert averaged around 19 points per game at the tournament last weekend, and Shipman scored 14 in the championship game alone. The Hutchinson Hawks' Allie Stark and Xavier Udebe made the Class 3A tournament team. Stark tallied 13 points and snagged 5 rebounds in the Lady Hawks final showing of the bracket, and Udebe averaged just over 16 points per game in tournament play. And Monroe Catholic standout Jalen McAuliffe was honored from the Rams. He averaged 12 points, helping propel Monroe to the state finals. And the U18 Fairbanks Arctic Lions team is traveling to Troy, Michigan for nationals tomorrow. This is the first time the Arctic Lions have made it to the tournament. And the KTVF sports team got a sneak peek as the squad was getting ready to play in one of the nation's top hockey competitions.
The first day of tryouts is a defining moment for any team, especially one that would end up making it to a national tournament. But for the Fairbanks Arctic Lions, an 18 and under hockey team made up of the best young players from the area, the road to the big stage didn't start as one would expect.
And I was lucky enough to get them and kind of put them together at the right time. We had 4 kids the first day of tryouts. These kids were kind of weary. Am I going to play this year a lot? But then the rumor spread that we have a pretty good team.
And the rumors were right. The Arctic Lions went 7-3 in their last 10 games. The team then went on to win the state tournament with an overtime victory against the Anchorage North Stars. The strong finish made the Fairbanks crew the top seed from their division in their tournament group. Arctic Lion forward Cameron Teal says the experience may be a little overwhelming for some of the new players, but ultimately beneficial for everyone.
It's going to be a little different for a lot of people. I mean, some people on this team have never been to nationals, others have been. I don't think getting noticed is going to be a big factor of how we play our game, but it's going to be a good way to get noticed out there.
The Lions take on a team from Ohio in their first matchup of round-robin play on Thursday. Fairbanks will then face squads from Arizona and Missouri after that. Head coach Adam Paul says the team's success will be a great way to keep talented hockey players in Fairbanks and make nationals at the U18 level a possibility in the upcoming years.
We have a lot of kids this age leaving and because they want to go get exposure. Well, we're about to go get the ultimate exposure with a national tournament. And, we're proud, we're honored, and as a coach, it's very humbling.
The Arctic Lions face off against Sylvania at 1:15 tomorrow.
And the Fairbanks Rugby Club is beginning to prepare for their upcoming season. The team held their first practices last week at UAF. They focused on learning the basics of the game. Rugby is a contact sport that combines ground attack style rushing with various types of kicking. The team encouraged men and women, regardless of experience level, to come out and try the sport. The club practices on Thursday evenings from 5:30 until 7:30 and on Sundays from 4 to 6. Training is held on Ashfield at UAF or in the Student Recreation Center if weather conditions are poor. You can find the team online at the Fairbanks Ravens Rugby Facebook page. Club President Charity Etheridge says the first practice was a sign of good things to come.
The first day, fabulous. I was freaking out. I didn't think numbers were going to happen, but people showed up. We had a great time. Lots of rookies. I don't think anybody walked out of here without a smile. We totally expect to have major numbers. We just need everybody, experienced, not experienced, to come out and play some rugby. It's a great time.
And the KTV College Hoops Challenge is still underway. There have been a lot of twists and turns as a number of teams have upset their way to the Sweet 16. The madness continues tomorrow as teams gear up to play for another round of basketball. And don't forget to check in at webcenter11.com to see how your bracket is holding up. And while you're there, take a look to see if you're in our top 10. And as always, good luck. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for checking in. For more KTVF sports, log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and download our mobile app. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next. We'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our weather nightcast for Wednesday night. Mike Schultz with you once again. And I never get tired of saying this, but the weather is not showing any signs of change. Temperatures will continue, like I said, near 50 degrees this weekend. And we're looking at no precipitation in the forecast, just mainly cloudy skies. But the warm air coming from the south is what we're really excited about. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. If you haven't got out to the ice park yet, you get out there pretty soon because they are really being affected by these warm temperatures. This is one of the single blocks. Look at the colors and that beautiful colors. This was sent in by Nancy Hummel, and it's one of the last of the single blocks there. It's hidden in the trees, so that's why it's not getting too much sun. But if you ever get a chance to get out there, and the kids will have a great time on the slides too. Here's your numbers right now. 43 degrees, low last night 7. The record high 56. That was in 1915. Record low 38 below in 1935. And sunrise and sunset works out to 12 hours and 49 minutes, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. On our satellite and radar, a little more cloudiness today. We've got some moisture coming up from the southeast, moving to the northwest, and that's helping to bring a little bit more thin clouds up to our direction. Also, some rain is starting to develop over southeast Alaska, as you can see on the map there. And the big map is showing, once again, widespread rainfall from Juneau right on down to Ketchikan. Little rainfall around Kodiak Island also. Not too bad at Anchorage, 46 degrees there, with actually some showers in the area, and showers along the Aleutian chain. Then after that, you get back to the partly cloudy, the clear skies everywhere you look. 22 degrees at Nome. Not too bad in Barrow, 6 degrees below zero, but 27 above in Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, quite a bit of weather to talk about tonight. Things are really changing there. Nice weather over the western half of the country, very warm, 72 degrees in San Francisco, cooling off a little bit around Denver, and showers and thunderstorms are rumbling across much of the midsection of the country. And over the northeast, also some thunderstorm activity there too. But what we're looking at right now is this band of thunderstorms right here that is working its way through Oklahoma into Arkansas and Missouri. And already there have been reports of some tornadoes touching down. No reports of any fatalities or injuries, but still shows you that the activity is really picking up, and it's expected to get worse tomorrow. Also out to the west, we have warm temperatures moving back into the picture. 83 degrees at San Jose tomorrow, 94 in Los Angeles, and Fresno 87 degrees, as warm air is really here to stay. And it's all because the jet stream, once again, way up to the north, allowing all this warm air to come in, and warm and humid conditions over the deep south also, and a little cooler over the northeast. All right, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. In the northern sections, mostly sunny skies for Nome, partly cloudy and warmer at Fort Yukon. Now here in the interior, we'll be looking at another great day. Lots of sunshine, but winds will be increasing through the passes and in the Delta Junction area, maybe up to as high as 50 miles an hour, so keep that in mind. As far as southeast Alaska, more rain in the forecast for Juneau and for Ketchikan, with temperatures around 50 degrees. While over the southwest part of the state, rain showers are likely in Coal Bay and at Kodiak, and some wind once again around the Kodiak region, cloudy skies for Bethel. Now over the central sections around the Anchorage Bowl, mostly cloudy in Anchorage, rain showers at Homer, and rain and snow showers for Valdez. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather, and this week we're talking with the kids from Northern Lights Academy. And tonight, here's a young man with a very interesting question.
My name is Jesse, and I go to Northern Lights Academy. And my weather question is, without technology, how would you tell if a hurricane is coming? I know I live in Alaska, but if I lived in the 48, what signs do I see?
Jesse, if you were in the lower 48 in the Gulf Coast states or the eastern seaboard, you'd be looking for one main ingredient, the barometer. Barometer really indicating how much the low pressure is moving in from the east or the southeast. And that would be the main thing you're looking for. Of course, the waves getting bigger and the clouds in the sky looking a little more ominous. That's the main ingredients, but technology really would help you out there big time. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, the teacher of the class will be here sharing you a unique weather fact. Here's your forecast for tonight. Very little change with clear skies and cool temperatures once again. 8 degrees for the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast, sunny early, then more clouds moving in, but continued warm temperatures, 45 degrees. And last night we were talking about 50-degree temperatures. We still are on Sunday. Looking like it should be around 50 degrees by Sunday, with overnight lows again rising to near 20 degrees each night. And again, no precipitation in the forecast. So it is just looking incredibly wonderful for this weekend for any kind of activities you want to plan.
But what happened to all the 50s? It was like 50, 50, 50 across.
No, there were a couple of 50s in there, but It has dropped off.
Mother Nature is always messing with
yeah,
us,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
If you're 48, 50, it's not that bad, really.
Yeah, there's a couple of
great.
major skiing events going on this weekend. We'll see if there's
Could be
any
a little
snow.
sloppy.
Slushing,
Yeah.
yeah, or what do you call it? Swooshing.
Yeah.
Shushing.
Down the slopes.
And I do have to say that I got quite a few comments last night. Thank you guys for letting me know what in fleek means. And I can say that I'm definitely in fleek.
All right.
I think you guys are too.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad we're that way because I have no idea what you're talking about.
It means you're cool, basically.
Okay.
All right, well, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we're really glad you could join us.
Tonight at NBC Nightly News, see the incredible video of a bus followed on a road collapsing. But don't worry, nobody was hurt.
Wow,
That's up next with Lester Holt.
And join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a good night.